Welcome to Homeschool Matters. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the high school battle plan for our daughter who is going into ninth grade using primarily gather round units. Just to share a little background, my husband and I have 7 children and we started our homeschool journey back in the late 1990s. And we recently graduated our 6th child, which is our 2nd child, using gather round all the way through high school. We started using gather round in 2020, so it's been almost 6 years now. So we've always had at least one of our children earning high school credits. I was planning on putting this video out a few months ago, but then the Legacy Pass became available. So then I really had to consider, do I want to go ahead and get the Legacy Pass on top of everything else I've had before? And I considered it very much so and realized that with the 50-state series and the modular math and all the other units they were planning on coming out with, I decided it was worth the investment. One of the things that excited me about the Legacy Pass was it was going to give me the opportunity to have newer units that Gloria had never done before. We were going to be repeating a lot of the units that she had done when she was in early elementary or upper elementary for high school credit, but knowing that we were going to be able to have some newer content seemed really exciting and refreshing. In a little bit, you're going to be seeing a PowerPoint slide presentation that I did to show you exactly what we're going to be doing for Gloria's high school years. One thing that I wanted to do was to study history chronologically throughout high school. So that is one thing that when you look at our high school battle plan, you'll note that we're doing things in chronological order. Now, that does not mean that you have to do it in chronological order, but that's just the way we decided we would like to do it. Another thing we wanted to do was to break up all of the history type of units in between with having some science units or elective type units. I didn't want to always have the same kind of units back to back, like all the continents back to back or all the world history back to back. So we do break it up for variety's sake. That way a child will not get tired of hearing the same thing. Breaking it up and having variety is always a good thing. I've done some previous videos that explain exactly which units you can group together to make one full credit for high school. I will link those videos in the description below. Just for reference, a quarter credit would be 30 to 40 hours, a half credit would be about 75 hours, and a full credit is going to be at least 120 hours, but it definitely could go beyond that, like even to 160 hours. One question that gets asked frequently is, how do you know that it takes 3 units to make 1 credit hour? Well, that is based upon how much time it typically takes to do a lesson. So when we first started using Gather Round, one thing I did was just take note of the fact of how long it takes us to do one lesson, with the teacher's guide reading, maybe inputting some videos in between to break up the reading, and doing all the other things they recommend, and then how much time it took to do the worksheets, and then of course the written projects, and working on their oral presentation at the end. When you add all these hours together, it's easy to get at least 2 hours from each lesson. You could go even way beyond that. So if you take, let's just say the minimum of 2 hours per lesson. Well, there's 20 lessons in a full unit. So 20 lessons times the 2 hours, you already have 40 hours. So 1 unit would be approximately 40 hours. Therefore, you get a quarter credit. If you do 2 units though, that doubles to 80. So that would equal a half credit. If you do 3 units, then you're up to the 120 minimum that you need. So that's why we say that it usually takes about 3 units to equal that 1 credit. If you were to do the bare minimum of just reading the teacher's guide and doing the worksheet pages, then it may take you less time. If you're spending less than an hour and a half on a lesson, then you may want to do 4 units or such more to get the 1 credit that you need. However, if you have a visual learner, that visual learner might really benefit from watching some videos that would go right along with the teacher's guide. And there are some recommended videos in the Gather Round app that you could go to and check out. Sometimes when I'm doing a lesson, I will just try to find my own videos, but sometimes I also use the app. I do recommend, and so does Gather Round, they do recommend to please preview the videos before you show them to your children, because not every family is going to agree with every single video as far as the way it is presented or there might just be certain things about it that they may not care for. So when I'm previewing a video, I would just speed it up in fast motion so that I can get through it quickly. But if I see anything or anything catches my eye that I don't really care for, or I do not feel like would be something that would work well for our family, I just get out of it and go on to the next video so then I'm not wasting any time. But just do that because, again, another thing is if you have a high schooler, you may not want to show them something that has to do for little kids with puppetry or animation. But then again, if you have little tiny kids and that's all you have, you're not going to want to do the videos for the middle school and high school. So when you're doing Gather Round and you're doing the teacher's guide and worksheets and putting in some videos, and then you go ahead and throw in the extension activities, rabbit trails. If you're doing a science unit, maybe doing some science experiments, anything that you read, any writing projects you do, any of those things, that counts towards the time that you're spending on that unit. Also, you can throw in some fun extra things like taking a field trip that goes right along with what you're studying, or maybe doing some educational games. We have a lot of educational games in our house that we love to do, and it's just a great way to learn new things in a fun and exciting way. There's also flashcards that come along with some of the units. So just drilling the flashcards, like the different continents and learning the different countries and the flags that go with each country and the capitals with each country. And ocean creatures has flashcards, and the birds have flashcards, and this astronomy has flashcards. So there's all these different things that you can throw in that you could count towards that overall credit. So it's super easy to get at least 2 hours per lesson, and sometimes you can go way above the 2 hours.
Welcome to Gloria's High School Battle Plan. Before we get started, I wanted to point out that any of the units that are in purple are ones that are going to be coming out in the future. Some will be coming out in 2026 and some will be following the years ahead. So for the history credits, Gloria started earning her World Geography and Cultures credit in 8th grade, so she's in the midst of doing that right now. She picked out several of the continent units that she wanted to do again, as well as Christmas Around the World and Christmas Arts that will be coming out in the fall. I do want to point out, though, that if you do decide to do all 7 of the continents, that is enough content to get 2 full credits. So you could do 1 credit would be called World Geography, and another credit would be called World Cultures. For 10th grade, she will be doing World History, and you can see all the different units that we are likely going to be doing for that credit. Some of them have not yet come out, but they may be coming out, and we look forward to those possibilities as well. And then for 11th grade, we'll be working on U.S. history. We'll be doing all of the mini units along with Living Off the Land. We'll also do Underground to Canada novel study because that all goes together in that time period. And then in 12th grade, we'll be doing the 50 states history. We'll be doing all 50 states, but we will be spreading that out over the course of 2 years. In 12th grade, also, she'll complete U.S. government and economics. With science, I first want to say that there are so many options with Gather Round for Science. So this is just what we plan to do. But at the bottom of the screen there, you can see too, in like a yellow color, it says for more specifics and more options for science courses, you can check out how to create a high school transcript with Gather Round Part 2. It's going to focus on your science options. I will link that in the description below so that you can click on that and check out other options for science courses. But just to get started with what Gloria has been working on, she's already completed her zoology credit for 8th grade because she's been studying animals daily when she does the continent units. And then in 9th grade, she is going to be finishing up her biology credit with human body, North American birds, ocean life, and botany. If you want to substitute some of the other animal units with some other animal units they have to choose from, you can see the choices that are there. For 10th grade, we'll be focusing heavily on physics. We'll be doing astronomy, energy, transportation, and inventions. And then also in grade 10, we are going to do weather and natural disasters, which is a newer unit, and that's going to be a quarter credit called Intro to Meteorology. We'll also be doing farming and food and get a quarter credit in agricultural science. For 11th grade, the focus will be chemistry, so we'll do the chemistry unit with the experiment book, psychology, and probably do faith elements from master books just to kind of complement it. You could also choose to do rocks and minerals or home medicine to add to get your chemistry credit. For 11th grade, we may also do this. We haven't decided for sure if we're going to do this. This may be considered an elective later on, but Unsolved Mysteries was a fun unit and we would like to do that one again. They do have worksheets daily on forensic science, but we may add in master books as forensic science just to kind of beef it up a little bit for credit. And then for 12th grade, since she's going to be doing the 50 States series and spreading that out over 2 years, and also would like to do National Parks of North America again, she'll be getting credit for ecology. Each year of high school, you should give 1 credit for language arts, which would be a total of 4 credits over the 4 years, which includes grammar, literature, composition, spelling, and vocabulary. We do primarily use Gather Round, but since we've been homeschooling for nearly 28 years, we have a huge amount of resources in our library. We have a lot of different books to read, as well as if we've ever needed any extra help in writing, we've used IEW, Structure and Style, and there have been occasions where we have also used Winston Grammar, Easy Grammar, and Daily Grams. Being that students have different plans after graduation, I listed many different options here for what you could choose for math courses for high school. As you can tell, some of these maths would be more advanced mathematic courses, and some of the other ones would be more for people that are consumer math minded or business math minded. So you can just choose from what we have here. I do want to make note that Gather Round's modular math does plan to cover through Algebra 1 concepts. They're still in the process of finalizing all of that, but that will be coming out in the days ahead. Make note that Step 6 money unit earns partial credit towards personal finance. Step 6% unit earns credit towards interest, loans, and investments and business math. Gather Round also does have plans in the future to do a business math or a life math high school level course. I do not know what year that will be done in, but it is something they are hoping to do in the future. The only high school subject that Gather Round does not currently cover is foreign language. Gloria has already completed her Spanish credits. She did Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 with the learnables, and she's also been studying American Sign Language. For Bible credit, we have so many resources that we have collected over the many years of homeschooling that it's not difficult at all to go to our library and pick out some things to do for the upcoming school year. This is a list of some of the things that we have. This is not everything, but these are just some options that we have. And we may not do 100% of this during the course of high school, but there are some really good options here to choose from. Obviously, Gather Round does incorporate Bible into their units, but we also like to do something that's even more focused. So we have a Women of the Bible study by Shirley Starr that we have done before. Christian Character is a wonderful curriculum by Plain Path. We are currently studying Preparing to be a Helpmeet by Debbie Pearl. We have Joy of Womanhood that we'll probably be doing next by Keepers of the Faith. There's also The World Religions and Cults by Master Books. And Gather Round also plans to come out with a world religions unit at some point in the future. I really think that would be a great thing to add to what we do during our high school years. Apologetics is a big subject that we like to study, and we have Gather Round for that, Answers in Genesis, Institute for Creation Research, and Creation or Evolution, and a Mission Imperative DVDs by Mike Snavely. There's also the book Will My Generation Speak by Grace Malley. We also have lots and lots and lots of sermon DVDs by S.M. Davis with Solve Family Problems. The courses that are listed below that are called dual, that would be if she decides to do dual credit with a Bible college. These are some of the courses that they offer, and you can take as many as 2 of these in a given semester. So again, we may not do all of these, but there's a possibility that she may earn dual credit in some of these Bible classes. And finally, electives. Over the 4 years of high school, Gloria will get a quarter credit each year in the areas of music, PE, and art, which will give her 1 credit for all 4 years. We will be spreading over 2 years her health credit, by using Apologia Health and Nutrition along with Gather Round Sports and PE, and Home Medicine, which will be coming out soon, and part of Growing Up with God. And then over 9th and 10th grade, we'll be focusing in on home economics. We'll be doing life skills, but also we'll be doing Gather Round's cooking and homestead kitchen units that will be coming out in the future. And then over 10th and 11th grade, we'll be doing music appreciation. We'll be doing a hymn study called Foundations in Worship by Master Books. We'll be using the music theory seminars through Tim Kelly and Frank Garlock videos, and we'll also be reading a book called Why I Left the CCM Movement, Confessions of a Former Worship Leader by Dan Lucarini. For 12th grade, she'll be getting her certification in floral designs. And future Gather Round units that we are also considering for electives would be computer skills, mock trial, public speaking, and motivating missionaries. As I said before, there are many different options to choose from with electives. There's a video that I did a while back about how to create a high school transcript with Gather Round unit studies that talks about strictly electives. You can check out that video. I will link it in the description below. And if you're wanting to go to that page that I mentioned before with Gather Round about the different units they're dreaming of, you can go to that link that you see there at the top of the page, gatherroundhomeschool.com pages/units we're dreaming of. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe for more homeschooling content on Homeschool Matters. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below.